Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So this is the first video of 2021. So welcome back all my lovely regular viewers, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. So it's not just going to be a Glitterbels tutorial because I wanted to use another colour which I thought was absolutely gorgeous from Tia's Beauty, and I thought it would go perfect with this set. So I'm doing a mix of both Glitterbels and Tia's Beauty. Starting off the year with just a nice simple design, and it's inspired by Burberry. So I'm using my flexi hand for this video, which I have been using quite a lot recently because the stands that I got from the hand dolly, they keep breaking on me, so maybe I'm just a little bit rough. But yeah, so it's hard to do them if they don't have the stand. And the nail tips that I'm using are from Nailed by Lucy. I will pop the link in the description box. I have trimmed them down a little bit. These are these super long sculpted squared nail tips. They are absolutely amazing. So I'm starting off on the little finger, and I'm going in with Butterscotch, which is the Glitterbels Acrylic. So I'm going in quite thinly because I am going to go ahead and I'm going to cap them at the end. So even though these are going to be full coverage nails, what I'm doing is I'm putting on the first layer. I'm letting that kind of start to cure before I go ahead and put any more on. I find that by doing it this way, the first bit of product that you've put on and you've shaped and it's nice and smooth, whenever you go on then to put your second bead on, sometimes you can move it a bit. So I'm trying to get into the way of doing it this way just to see which way I prefer. So when the coloured acrylics came out, I was kind of new to it. I had used a few of the Easy Flow colours and that before many years ago, but we just get into the habit, well, I just got into the habit of nail techs, and the girls also in my salon, we would have done just like a normal clear acrylic or like a pink acrylic, and then we would have done a gel polish over it. So whenever the likes of Glitterbels started bringing out all their coloured acrylics, then I thought, well, I actually love the way they are. I love the way you can get those really straight sharp edges by using the coloured acrylic, because sometimes when you're by the time you've done your 2 layers of colour and your top coat of your gel polish, sometimes you can lose those really sharp edges, and by working with coloured acrylic it kind of just stops all that. So I've been working with coloured acrylic now maybe about, would it even be 2 years, maybe 18 months I've been working with coloured acrylic, and I do have to say I love it. So back now to the little finger and back in with some more of that butterscotch. So I'm going to, because these nails are quite long, I am going to do them in the 3 beads. So you've got your free edge bead, you've got your apex bead, and you've got your cuticle bead. Obviously though, when you're working with coloured acrylics, you're not going to be building up your apex. You will build your apex up with your clear acrylic. So I'm working quite flat, as I call it, with the coloured acrylic, but I'm still placing the acrylic in the 3 zones. So you can see just by letting that first bead start to cure, I can nearly speak, you can see just how smooth the next application goes on. And I'm just going to be placing a little bit more of that butterscotch just on the free edge. I do find sometimes whenever I'm applying any of the acrylic to the free edge, I prefer to do it in this direction. I find sometimes when you do it in the other direction, you kind of wipe it off. So by doing it this way, it stays where you want to place it. So back in now to the cuticle bead, and I'm just going to use a very, very small bead. I'm draining out any of the liquid that's in my brush, and I'm just tucking it in around that cuticle area, and then I'll brush it and blend it in with the rest of that acrylic. So same again onto the ring finger, and back in with that second bead of the butterscotch. Again, wiping out any excess that's on my brush, patting it into the place where I want, and then wiping it down to blend in with the rest of that acrylic. So I am finding that this is giving me a much smoother application and causing me less filing time once I go to file and shape them. So again, in with my cuticle bead, so I'm placing it, wiping out my brush, and then just tucking that into the cuticle area before I blend it into the previous bead of acrylic. So you want to try and keep your acrylic application as smooth as possible, because that's what's going to cut down on a lot of time whenever you're filing and shaping it. So in again now to the pointer finger, I'm going to in with my second bead of acrylic, which would be your apex placement. And you can see, you'll be able to see a side view on this part where you can see just how thinly I am working with the coloured acrylic. So it's literally just to lay down colour. You're not building any strength or any structure or anything with your coloured acrylic. It's just as if you're just laying down the colour onto the nail surface. Okay, so onto the middle finger, and I'm going to in now with this coloured acrylic from Tia's Beauty, and it's called Chocolate. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it has this little shimmer that just goes through it, and I thought that it would just break this set up a little bit, because sometimes the butterscotch on its own can just be a little bit maybe just a little bit boring, a bit too nude on its own. Even though I'm going to go ahead and put some design over them, I still think that this set just needed a bit more colour. And I've said in so many of my other videos, when I'm using any coloured acrylic that has a little bit of shimmer in them, they are such a dream to work with. They blend so easily, and the coverage of them is great. You know, the pigment that's in them, you know, no matter what brand, if there's a shimmer in it, it just glides on the nails and just self-levels, and it's just a complete dream to work with. So again, even with this colour from Two's Beauty, I'm still working quite thinly, and I'm still doing the 3 zones. So I'm still doing the free edge, the apex and the cuticle. I always work that way unless I'm working on shorter nails, and in doing that I would normally do a 1 bead method. But because these nails are so long, because these tips from Lucy's, oh my goodness, they are amazing. In fact, I have a few videos on now that I've used those tips. The nails, they literally look like they've been sculpted. The C curve in them is insane. I absolutely love them. And again, in with the little bead just on the free edge of that nail. Oh, it's got a little hair poking out. Yeah, so I turn my brush the other way and I apply it kind of backwards. I feel it, I get the best free edge by doing it that way, and the acrylic stays where I've put it. And onto the thumb, and again this is going to be another full coverage of the Two's Beauty chocolate. And now that all the coloured acrylic has been applied, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cap all the nails with glass slippers. I'm not going to show all the nails being capped though, as I don't want to keep the length of the video too long for you guys. So now that all the nails have been capped in glass slippers and it's all cured, it's time for me to start filing and shaping the nails. So I do my normal filing routine. I start at the side walls and make sure they're nice and straight. Now you can see I'm doing the lower arch, and I like to make sure that that's nice and straight and coming out in line with the natural nail. Then I go to the free edge and make sure that's nice and straight and the shape that I want it. Once I've done all that, I will go to the cuticle area, making sure that's nice and flush, and then I'll go around the rest of the nail, always filing up towards the apex area and just making sure that there's no obvious lumps and bumps and the height of the apex is in place. So once I'm happy with the shape of the nail, I always finish off my filing with a buffer, and I'm just looking down at that C curve there. You can see it really does just look like sculpted nails, but when you look down the barrel of your nail, you're looking to make sure that that C curve is the same thickness the whole way round, and that will give you good indication that your nail is symmetrical. So you always want to look at the free edge of the nails and just make sure that they're all the same. Now that they're all filed and shaped, I'm going to go in with Nail Perfection's matte top coat, and I'm going to apply them to all the nails. Because if I'm doing any kind of nail art or anything, I always like to do it on a matte surface. So to do the nail art in this set, I'm using this white gel paint or gel polish from Model 1s, and then I'm also going to use OPI's Big Apple Red and their Black Onyx. To do the straight lines in this set, I'm using my super long striper brush. It is so long, but whenever you're working with long nails, you really do need to try and find the longest striping brush you can. I have tried to look for this brush again, but it's proven hard for me to try and get some more of them, but I will keep searching because they are fantastic. Although any other striping brush will do the same job, it's just if you are working with longer nails, it is better to work with a longer brush. So the design that I'm working on is very, very similar to the Burberry design. So I'm doing a thick white band followed by another thick white band going horizontally. And then I'll go in and add some of the black lines and finish off with a red one. Just to do a quick clean up, I'm going in with a flat gel brush with some acetone and just sliding that down the side of the band just to make sure that it's nice and crisp. I did cure the first band before I go in with this horizontal one because I don't want anything to move. I want everything to be nice and crisp. And again, I went ahead and I cured the white horizontal band before I go any further. So I'm back to using the super long striping brush, and I'm going in with the black onyx, and I'm just outlining the white band, and then I'll do a thinner stripe right down the center of that white band. Then I'll also do the same on the horizontal one. Again, after any cleanups with my little flat gel brush, I do go in and I cure everything before I move ahead to the next step. Especially when you're doing line work, you want to make sure that you do cure everything in between, because it's such a heartache if you've really got your lines super crisp and super straight. And like me especially, I am so clumsy, I smudge everything. So for me especially, I always like to cure them in between. And just to finish this nail off, I'm going to go ahead and apply the red stripe, which is iconic for Burberry. So now onto the little finger, and I'm going back in with the butterscotch acrylic, and I'm going to create like a gel polish, like a quite a thick gel polish that I can use to do like a sweater design on these nails. So I'm going to mix it up with just a regular top coat, one that I don't really use that often, because it's literally just to turn this into like that gel polish. So now that I'm happy with the consistency, I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the little finger. So I'm just going to do a normal knitted design. It's one that I haven't done before, so here goes. So I'm kind of discovering while I'm working with this one, I've kind of done it a little bit too watery. It's a bit too thin and it's starting to spread out a bit. So I'm working quite fast and I'm doing a really simple design so that I can work quickly on it. So just before I go ahead and cure this one, I'm going to go over with some clear acrylic just to give it the sugared effect, and whenever I cure it I'll be able to brush off any of that excess acrylic. So moving on to the pointer finger now, and I'm going to be doing another cable design on this nail, but I'm only going to do it on half the nail and kind of in a diagonal pattern. So I'll go through all the same steps, I'll do my design, and then I'll give it the dust over with the clear acrylic to give it the sugar effect, and then I'll go in and do some nail art on the bottom part of that nail. Now that I've got all the cable designs all done, I'm going to go back in on the pointer finger and do the Burberry design just on the bottom half of that nail. So to start it off, just to break up both parts of that nail, I'm going in with my striper brush, and I'm just going to do a black line that will separate the two halves of the nail. So now that I've cured the black line, I'm going to go in with the gel polishes again, and I'm going to do another Burberry design on the bottom part of that nail. And all that's left to do now on the middle finger is to apply some rhinestones and a gold embellishment. And here are the finished nails, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up. And you can help support me if you haven't already subscribed by hitting that subscribe button. And also, if you hit the little notification bell, you'll not miss any more of my videos. And I will see you all in the next one. So take care. See you soon. Bye.